And then fasting just flies in the face of how our culture thinks of consumption and entertainment. It's seen as either religious extremism or something that other religions do, or as a health hack for losing weight. But fasting is then a spiritual discipline, reminding your brain that you don't have to follow every urge of your body, that you can hunger for something more, and that while food can quiet your emotions, it does not actually deal with them. And as I mentioned earlier, enjoyment of it is not the point, but Jesus points out being miserable is also not the point. We're going to skip down to verse 16. Again, we'll come back to the chunk in the middle next week. Jesus says, "And when you fast, don't make it obvious as the hypocrites do, for they try to look miserable and disheveled, so people will admire them for their fasting. I tell you the truth, that is the only reward they will ever get. But when you fast, comb your hair and wash your face, that no one will notice that you are fasting except your Father, who knows what you do in private. And your Father, who sees everything, will reward you." And I get it. When we're feeling gross and miserable, the comfort of others can be really, really helpful. It's why we're commanded to mourn with those who mourn, because as a community, one of the ways that we can express love is through sympathy and misery. And God knows that. And he also knows you, and he has sympathy for you. Which maybe sounds a little weird. I don't know if we've ever thought about that before. That God would know pain, but he does. He knows hurt. He knows how pain feels. He knows how you're feeling, and he sees you and your hurt and your fear and your anxiety, and he has sympathy for you. As our culture over the last 15 to 20 years has prioritized authenticity, which I think is a great thing to prioritize, it's become more in fashion to share that you're feeling bad or miserable or that life isn't going very well. To post it online, to take a big size, you're telling somebody the story, to make sure they know that you're upset and hurting. And again, I love the authenticity, and I hope we lean into that value. And if you feel like you have to put on a smile on your face to walk in here, I hope you discover that that is not true. That if you're feeling gross, we have sympathy for you, and not the sort of like pat sympathy, but like a sit with and hurt with and live life with kind of sympathy. That we can engage what is real and messy. But there's a temptation, I think, to show off how good you are at enduring stuff. Like if I can tell you how bad life is and tell you that I'm fine and I've got it handled, that I've now proven to you how good I am at toughing things out. How self-sufficient of an overcomer I can be. And Jesus says there is just no reason to do that. Wash your face, comb your hair. Don't go looking for 1,000 huggy heart emojis. Be real. Be you. Up, down, sideways. And shine the light of God's goodness into dark places. But do it with confidence in a God who sees you and will reward you. Not will maybe reward you. Father who sees everything, and as a loving Father will reward you. Now again, I don't have a lot of answers for you today. I have some explanations, some context, and some reflection questions. So a couple more. Do you believe that God will reward you as you engage with him? Do you believe that God will actually reward you as you engage in your relationship with him? Or do you believe in a God who's holding out on you? Do you believe that God is generous with his love just as he asks you to be? That Jesus is not, in fact, setting you up for disappointment in this life? That doing something for him and him alone will lead to enough of a reward, or do you feel like you have to make other people notice too? And maybe some of that comes down to this next question. That when you do acts of good faith, when your heart reflects the heart of God, when your actions are devoted to Him, do you believe that He will reward you? And do you believe that reward is good? Is it actually good? Because if not, if you believe that reward is a party that you don't want to attend, or an eternity of boredom or isolation that sounds suffocating, then of course, you're not going to want to go after that. Of course, that won't be enough. But what if God really is generous? What if He really does see you, all of you, pluses, minuses, flaws, the whole mess, and loves you deeply, fully, and wants to be generous with His love to you? What if God knows you more than anybody else, including yourself, knows you? And what if what He has in mind for you actually fills your heart and soul? What if God really sees you and knows exactly what you need to be made whole? What if God actually appreciates you for who you are and the ways that you are putting in the effort and the attempt to live out the kingdom of heaven in this life? What if God sees you, knows you, loves you, appreciates you, and He wants to make sure that you know that?